Trump's tariffs now on India have been slashed from 50% to 18%, giving us a competitive edge over many of our Asian peers. But we need to also give you an important update when it comes to the Section 232 of these tariffs as well, because you do have the national security duties under Section 232 covering steel, aluminium, copper, automobiles, as well as certain auto components that remain largely unchanged. When you take a look at steel, aluminium and copper imports, they continue to face tariffs around that 50% mark as well, while some auto parts are still subject to rates near 25%. You do have Shrimi Chaudhary joining in with all of those important details. Shrimi, what are your sources telling you?
The India-US trade deal announcement, several aspect of tariff treatment remains unclear, and what is emerging so far is that certain items like steel, copper, aluminium covered under Section 232 of the US trade law are likely to remain outside the scope of the agreement. However, India is hoping to secure a concession at a later stage, and it's coming from a highly placed sources. Section 232 is a provision under US trade law that allows the president to impose tariff or quotas on imports deemed to threat to national security. And at present, steel, aluminium, copper face steep tariff of nearly 50% under this section, while certain auto components also come under this section, attract around 25%. Now, India and US have reached an understanding on the agreement, and a joint statement outlining the broad contours of the deal is expected within 2 to 3 days, is what indication we are getting from the Commerce Ministry sources. These levies, however, under 232 are expected to continue even as broader tariff reduces to 18%. Further, the deal involves a $500 billion commitment over next 5 years, covering all sort of merchandise purchases across sector like aircraft, data center, LPG, gold, textile, leather, etc. And the clarity on time frame is crucial, as this was not something clearly specified in the President Trump Monday evening post. So that 5-year has been clarified, and in fact, sources indicated that investment in data center alone could account for nearly $20 billion. And this is something announced in the union budget on February 1st. And, we understood that there are some measures which are going to be the part of the broader trade understanding. On zero tariff, sources said that India is also expected to receive zero tariff access, indicating a more balanced outcome than initially perceived. Now, speaking during a briefing, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said that labor-intensive sectors were particularly upbeat about the agreement. He noted that the fishermen and seafood exporter, etc., are among those expected to benefit, and that deal would open up multiple new opportunities for Indian businesses and Indian exporters, and that the minister emphasized the fact that India had successfully navigated all those sticking points and the challenges while ensuring that the interest of the farmer and the dairy sector remains protected.
All right, and thank you so much, Shrimi, for getting us all of those details. Let's move the spotlight onto Wall Street then, because you do have major US stock averages that sold off during the previous session. You do have investors also gravitating out of riskier growth names, the likes of towards cyclical stocks like Walmart as well. You do have S&P 500 that lost about 0.8%. Tech-heavy Nasdaq is the one that declined over 1.4% as well, and the 30 stock Dow shed nearly 167 points as well. This is after hitting that fresh record high earlier in the day as well for this particular index. But let's talk about Nvidia and Microsoft, because they also lost more than 2% each. When you talk about the US futures rate as well, the picture is actually looking quite similar, barring Dow Jones and S&P 500 just managing to hold on to a tint of green, if you will. But you do have